Happy New Year! Welcome to Black Nouveau. This is our edition for January 2018. Ramel Smith and Sean Roby join us to talk about their recent trip to Ghana. We'll introduce you to the Amazing Grace Chorus, where music is used as therapy for Alzheimer's patients. And we'll take you to the 4th annual Tuxedo Walk for We Got This Milwaukee. You know, Milwaukee and Atlanta are the only two cities in the nation who have been celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday since 1984. This year's celebration will be held at the Marcus Center on Sunday, January 14th, starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. In keeping with one of our traditions, here is Ariana Cawthorn, one of the student winners in the MLK speechwriting contest. She is speaking on the theme, Take a Stand for Truth and Justice.
Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Although these words spoken decades ago by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., they still hold weight to this day. Some believe silence keeps problems at bay and that if no one speaks, then maybe they'll go away. But no, I am here to testify that that is not the way. Yes, I know we have been dragged through the slums of oppression and depression, but I am here to hold your hand and fight this fight with you for our progression. Though yesterday was filled with hardships, today we will take our stand for truth and justice. Legendary leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Rosa Parks, Nelson Mandela, and Dr. King all took a stand for truth and justice no matter if it got hectic. They saw things from a clear perspective and wanted others to understand, so they stood firm in their position until society met their demands. They all fought from a day-to-day basis just to be the basis of a new foundation. I solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Yet, what is my truth if others choose not to believe and instead try to hurt me? Because to have this truth, we need trust. That means approaching it sensitively. Yet we always seem to include race, which subjects us to a place of stereotypes, where if you're one race, you're a supremacist, and ghetto if you talk like this. There's so much race this and race that, it's time to stop. Erase that and face facts. September 17th, 1787, the U.S. Constitution established America's government and guaranteed basic rights for its citizens. And in this Constitution, it has a phrase that says, establish justice. The same justice that was also promised in August of 1892 in the Pledge of Allegiance, where it tells us we stand as one nation and also tells us justice for all. All I want is for justice to come for me because the lies has us suffocating, and soon the truth, like Eric Gardner, won't be able to breathe. Some bunny has got to do something. And yes, I did say some bunny. In the movie Zootopia, there is a fox that wants to buy a jumbo pop for his son, and they are sold at an elephant store. Yet the elephant didn't want to sell the jumbo pop because the customer was a fox and told him to go to an ice cream parlor in his part of town. A rabbit, who is a police officer of Zootopia, intervenes to help the fox by pointing out the discrimination being done and later buys the jumbo pop for the young son. I share this story with you to show that we do not have to stay within the status quo and that anyone can be the rabbit to take a stand for the fox. So that you realize it only takes one to stand up for the wrong being done. Because when you sit back and do nothing, you tell me who's the real enemy. Being a leader doesn't matter of your age, race, or physical traits. It's about where you take a stand in justice. 1 Timothy 4:12 says, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech, in life, in love, in faith, and in purity. There are those who watch, those who wonder, and those who make the change. If you can't stand something, don't just sit back and expect it to die down. Let's take a stand for truth and justice. We will put back the true and truth and the just and justice. Dr. King once said, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands at times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. So, where will you stand?
So here is Ariana Cawthorn, who's in the 11th grade at Eastbrook Academy. I enjoyed your speech. It was very good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, one of the things you said was our lives begin and end when we become silent about things that matter. What things matter to you?
I believe what matters to me is the pursuit of happiness and love for community and equality, just all those that, makes us who we are. Just whatever makes us happy. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. How long did it take you to write the speech?
The speech, it actually took me about a month and a half to write the speech. I had a lot of writer's block.
You did? What did you do?
I prayed about it a lot. I found some inspiration. I tried, writing what I could and scratched it out and wrote again.
Oh, well, that's the way writing goes.
Yes.
You start one place and go to another. Before you wrote this speech, what did you know about Dr. King?
I knew he was a man he was a civil rights activist, and he wanted equality for both races. And in one of his famous quotes, he wants people to judge each other by their character, not their color. And I felt that was very important, especially with today's life. We judge each other so quickly, and I wanted to be judged by who I am and not what I was seen as.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell me a little bit about entering the contest. Was this your first time?
This is actually my second year entering. So last year I entered, it was my first year, and I won second place.
So you tried it again?
Yes.
Now, you said you didn't have writer's block last time.
I didn't.
Why not?
I felt so much easier writing about, because the theme was we shall overcome, and being a teenager in high school, there's so many things you have to overcome, dealing with bullying and, the stress of school. So I could write about everything. It was just much better.
This year's theme was what?
Take a stand for truth and justice.
Was that a more difficult theme to write about?
Yes, especially much going on in the news. You want it to be appropriate about how you wrote and make sure you didn't offend anyone. So that was my main concern, but also to deliver Dr. King's message at the same time.
So it sounds like you may want to do a lot more writing. What do you intend to do when you graduate from Eastbrook?
I want to become a psychiatrist. I plan to study psychology when I go to college.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Although I haven't found the college that I plan to go to yet.
Well, you have some time. You have some time. Well, thank you very much for coming and talking with us. Ariana Cawthorn, who was the winner of the Martin Luther King Essay Contest for 2017-2018. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is a choir rehearsal where melodies ignite memories. Introducing the Amazing Grace Chorus, a chorus made up of people with Alzheimer's disease and their caregivers. It's an activity where people are not stigmatized about their condition.
Sehr gut.
It started as a pilot program in 2014, and now years later, they do a variety of performances throughout their community each year. It's more than just a chorus, it's an experience, and the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute is really trying to
engage that family on a level to make them more open to actually receiving more resources and support in the community that they may not know are out here. We have people who actually have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. They are in early stage. We have people who are in mid stages of the disease as well.
Under the guidance of music directors Vanta Jones, Morris Cotton on the piano, Arlene Skarowski, and Kevin Williams, they see how memory comes back with just one note.
This is the therapy for memory loss. And we just see the interactions take on a whole new life with all of the participants.
This chorus actually helps with language. Also, people many times have issues with focusing on things and attention. The program is designed where they have music books where they see the words in front of them. We have phenomenal conductors leading them who are constantly engaging them. And also it helps with mood.
Caregiver Pearl Cannon said her husband was hesitant at first about participating with the choir.
Now he looks forward to coming to the chorus practice every week because it's kind of like he's included, and this is for me, I'm not singled out, and it really makes a difference in his attitude.
It also helps with memory recall. And you say, how does that happen? Because many of the songs that we sing are usually from a time period of when they were much younger, or it was something that they sang in church, or when they sang maybe when they were in the chorus.
I just want to let you know you're only a visitor once, and you are a member for life. This is the Alzheimer's Institute Mafia.
And it helps with self-confidence. It gives people a sense of purpose.
Caregivers love coming and having fun with their loved ones. Joanne Peer finds socializing with this group a good thing for her and her husband.
It is just so joyful to be here. The first couple Saturdays I thought, oh, another day of getting up and getting on the road, and do I really want to do this? And then I got here and found out why I do. And I've never asked the question since. And Bill is the same way in the morning. Today is Amazing Grace Day. Okay. And he sings all day to the mute radio, to Pandora, directs the orchestras when there are no words, and he does that here. And it's just opened up all kinds of areas of joy and happiness. It's a miracle what music does, I think, for all of our brains, but especially for people with Alzheimer's. It's just such a gift.
They see that when, after attending a rehearsal, their loved one is more verbal, they're more engaged, and so this provides them, as one of our chorus members mentioned, this each week is a great way to get a good shot in the arm of some joy.
Ella McKinley said it's nice to have a choir where you can keep singing and fit in with the group. She's a caregiver to her husband and son with the help of her daughter, Janet Mays, who said this choir has made a big difference in their lives.
It gives us strength to do the caregivers, and we look forward to Saturday to practice and going places. New experiences also, help to keep the mind stimulated.
When we go anywhere with James, prior to his participation, we could see progression, and since he's participated, people tell us now he has Alzheimer's. He doesn't seem like because he's extremely high functioning, and I believe the participation in this group has made the big difference in his life, and in my mom's life, and in my life. And now, recently, in my brother's life too, because we can all participate together in something that's beautiful, that's dynamic. We have the interaction with each other, with these other wonderful people. We socialize, and so when folks say, oh, do you have a support group? I was like, we've got better. We've got the Amazing Grace Choir.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Come on, Miss Cleo, come on. Hallelujah. Very good, very good.
There is more information about the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute on our website at MilwaukeePBS.org.
The Republic of Ghana is located on the west coast of Africa. It has a population of about 27 million people. Last summer, Ramel Smith, Jermaine Reed, and Sean Roby, 3 healthcare professionals from Milwaukee, spent 10 days traveling across the country. 2 of them are here to share their experiences. Thanks for joining us, guys.
And thanks for having us.
Whose idea was it to go to Ghana in the first place?
You know what? It was Jermaine Reed, the second part of the trio that's not here today. he just gave a call and said, you know what, we're going to go down there. And what we wanted to do was a couple of things. Clearly, it was a pilgrimage to get back to our roots, but also working within, you know, the foster care industry and doing so much work with the young children who've been taken away from homes was a way to find out some other things that was done in our motherland that we could bring back into the States as it related to helping children to acclimate to new environments. What's some of those things we could bring back?
What did you learn?
Well, you know what I mean? It's not enough time to tell everything with that, because, you know, once you go down there, you recognize, honestly, like sometimes you hear about, like, we need to have an African-centered culture, curriculum within the schools. We recognize how little we've been taught about Africa. You know, when we went to Ghana, our tour guide, George, was just absolutely amazing. He was so knowledgeable on so many different topics, and not only him, but the places he would have us go, it would be other experts in the area. And so you say, well, what did you learn? You learned that, you know, Ghana was the first Black Republic, Sub-Saharan, that declared its independence, and that set off the whole stage. So even when you look at their flag, there's a black star in the middle, and that's because they're the vanguard of all the African nations to say, hey, we can get our independence. So when you go to Ghana, especially as a child, a descendant of the diaspora, you start to get a different pride. Like, this is when we started to regain, you know, a lot of our lost culture back, because they were colonized by the British, and it was like, no, we're going to be our own independent nation, and that started the turn for all of the other nations.
Sean, what did it mean for you?
And I agree with everything Ramel mentioned. Life-changing. I mean, to get off the plane, and one of the first things that a lot of our family say is welcome home.
Aquaba.
Aquaba. And Joe, and just to get that, it sends goosebumps through your body. And just to walk through and go through and see so many beautiful hues of Black people or African people, and to look at so many people, it's such a feeling of happiness. But then at the same time, you have sorrows, and there's so many emotions rolled up into one. But to get there and to learn so much about the different Adinkra symbols, and going to different the slave castles, and learning about the different ethnic groups who reign throughout different times in history is so much, and at so many points it just leaves you like in awe.
So. No, that's interesting. You talk about the slave castles, that experience. What did that do for you? How did you feel?
That in itself, and I just heard you take that side, because when you're talking about the emotional aspect of it, you're charged, you're emotionally charged to say, you know what, let's do this, let's go. And then once you're driving up and you see it, and you see this massive building, and which is 400 or 500 years old, and some were even a little older than that. But to get in there and see, and to take those steps, and to see one of the particular castles had a back door, which was from the top of the castle, but it was a back door and stairs that went down to the women's quarters. And that was solely so the captain could have his pick at all of the women. And so when you talk about that emotional aspect of it, some of it will just have you so enraged, but then going through there at different parts to see these small rooms, maybe 10 by 10, where they had 50, 60, 70 of our ancestors. It's just so many emotions. But then understanding that you had so many Africans from so many different tribes, and they still knew how to, in some form or another, relate to each other. So, very emotional.
What about for you?
But yeah, you know what? To say emotional, I don't even know if that's the greatest word, because it's like what you start to recognize is how special your DNA is. Because when we talk about the Middle Passage, or we talk about the slave castles, one thing we didn't learn about, which was, I think, was something that was so knowledgeable, so informational, was we learned about the traveling from when they were taken and having to walk hundreds of miles before they even got to these dungeons. And so now they're walking, and then they go to this place called, what they call Ancestral River Park now, where for lack of a better word, the slaves took their last bath. So this was the last time they got, but it wasn't a bath from any type of humanity. It was so that they could wash them up, make them look good, and then start the slave auction. And so the people would take a bath, and then they would be branded. So we, even before we went to the castles, we took these steps and we walked there. We were able to get into the water, and it's like you're retracing the steps of your ancestors. And when he says you feel proud, it's because you say, if my ancestors could go through this, you just recognize what's inside your DNA to be so resilient, to be so to be able to persevere through so much. I understand why we're so strong and we can do what we do. But then to walk from that part all the way to those castles, to see them, to understand that they had no real places to urinate, they had no places to really sleep. It was just all wood, and you could still feel the smell.
Absolutely.
It's like you could feel and hear. It's almost like I could describe it with words, but it's still undescribable. But what you knew, it was a place of horror, it was a place of torment, but it also had to be a place of bond and love for them to be able to make it through that. And we talk about the Middle Passage. This was everything before the Middle Passage. So what I got just in a nutshell was just how strong our brothers and sisters were from the past.
Now, there's some beautiful parts of Ghana, as you showed throughout your pictures. Describe what the beauty of Ghana looks like.
But the irony is, like, right off Elmina Bay and Cape Coast where these dungeons are at, you see these beautiful rivers. We're looking at the Atlantic Ocean, we're looking at beaches and rocks, and it looks like, something out of a catalog when you're trying to go for a vacation.
Right.
There's so many beautiful parts. You go into some of the cities and you look and you say it's very westernized in what you do. So some of the things that, you sometimes see on TV, you will see those villages that's, a little, impoverished. You see the goats and the sheep and cows running around and everything like that. So you'll get, a combination. But when you see the most beautiful aspects of it, and specifically because we were traveling a lot, we traveled by van, so you could see the mountainsides, the mountains, the terrains, and it's just an awe-inspiring place. It's definitely the mother civilization. You can see how everything sprung from there.
I think to add to that, when you talk about one of the most beautiful aspects of the entire trip were the actual people.
Yeah.
To have those dialogues and exchanges, and you talking about just wonderful, embracing, lovely, beautiful folks, like everywhere we went.
You can see and hear much more of our conversation on our website, www.milwaukeepbs.org.
There are enough brothers for every brother in our community. It's a brother for every young brother in the building. People power. Yeah, we got this. We got this. More than you know, we got this.
From the garden to the grooming to the grand ballroom, We Got This is called on black men to mentor black boys. Andre Lee Ellis is its founder.
We Got This is an organization that started in June 2014 with a young man on my block on 9th and Ring, located in the 53206 zip code in Milwaukee, which was deemed one of the worst zip codes to raise a black child in America. Well, when they were going to arrest the young man, I just stepped in and tried something different, offered him a job in the garden, the community garden we have on the corner, to pay him $5 an hour, $20. He worked hard. The next week he returned with some friends. And by the end of that first summer, we had 100 boys working, and we paid them only through Facebook posts on Saturdays and the people coming to pay them.
The first year, there were 100 men and boys in tuxedos. The event has grown since then, but the need for mentors and role models is still strong.
It's a time for us to give back. It's a time for us to reach back and help others that didn't necessarily have the same opportunities that we had when we were younger.
Kirk Stevens has been cutting hair for the Tuxedo Walk since it first started.
It has grown. It's grown in numbers, and it's also grown in support. And a lot of people want to be involved. I've also it made me grow as a person also, being able to get more in touch with the community on a grassroots level.
The event this year included a Friday night meet and greet, and of course, the big event on Saturday.
The same bag that you get to shoot. All right.
One of the mentors this year was Michael Taylor. He's an international professional basketball player who grew up in Milwaukee.
This is where change begins. An experience is is beyond overwhelming right now. I'm just trying to absorb everything and just learn and figure out how I can do my best to give back to the community as much as possible. I want to be able to teach these young men, because everybody that was a young boy wanted to be a basketball player, you know? So that's why I feel like I can have my influence. I was a professional athlete, and now I can begin to teach them how to be a professional right now. I have a son, 6 years old, 7 years old, you know, so I'm teaching him how to be a professional mentally, because that's where we defeated at, mentally. And when we get to that level, we don't know how to handle the business side. Money is materialistic. It may come and go, but what you got in your mind is gonna last forever, right? And that's how you'll be able to get whatever you need, as long as you know it in your mind, right? So if it was taken away from you, you'll know how to get it right back, because you had the knowledge, right?
That's how you get more successful, right?
Easy. That's why I'm here. That's why I want to drop these knowledge on y'all. I get more blessings by giving blessings.
It's important because I feel like a lot of youth don't get enough time with older people to just talk. Personally, that's why they call it mentoring too, just so you can get a little bit of wisdom from somebody that you haven't met before. It's different from just hearing it out of somebody that you know, hearing it from a stranger.
After everyone was dressed, the group made its way to the Hilton Hotel for dinner, awards, and a pledge. Because of the inclement weather, the group picture was taken inside the ballroom.
On three, say, we got this. 1, 2, 3. We got this.
Join us for the next edition of Black Nouveau on Thursday, February 1st at 9 o'clock on Channel 10. We'll preview some of the special programming PBS will offer in celebration of African American History Month. You know, it's not just TV anymore. We're also on the web and on Facebook. We post new material every week, so look for us at MilwaukeePBS.org and follow us on Facebook. But wait, there are more ways to connect with Black Nouveau. Call us and let us know what you like, what you don't like, and share any story ideas you have. We want to hear from you. The number is 414-797-3760. 414-797-3760. And that's our program for this month. For Black Nouveau, I'm Joanne Williams. Thanks for watching.